We are on the bridge of the Executor, flagship of the Empire. A superstar destroyer crewed by tens of thousands, terrified conscripts, competent officers, a few true believers, and Darth Vader's looming shadow. They are accustomed to being the apex predator of known space. Then reality fractures. 1 second, hyperspace transit. Next second, they snap into real space above a planet being choked by orbital fire. The bridge. Sensor alarms slam alive. The viewport reveals a burning planet, dozens of strange, asymmetrical warships locked in combat in orbit, a massive carrier, long night of solace, carving through UNSC forces, explosions flashing in orbital debris fields, dropships moving like insects toward the surface energy weapons. Unlike anything in Imperial doctrine, the Executor's crew does not cheer. They freeze. They are trained to dominate, not to be thrust into a battlefield they don't understand. Vader, he recognizes immediately, this is not the rebellion. This is not a skirmish. This is extermination. The Covenant fleet isn't trying to conquer Reach. They're sterilizing it, glassing, an act so absolute it would make the Imperial doctrine of fear look restrained. Vader's mind cold, strategic locks onto the truth. This enemy does not negotiate. This enemy does not exploit. This enemy erases. And he knows the Empire has never faced a foe like that. Admiral, he's thinking through the logistics even while shaking internally. Identify factions, 2 forces at war, unknown tech, determine if they're a threat, restore frames of reference. Star maps useless, IFF useless, comm signals indecipherable, hyperspace jump, unavailable until orientation recalibrated, meaning they're trapped. Then the emotional gut punch. If the Covenant can cut apart ships like this, what happens if they detect the Executor? Imperial officers are loyal until fear fractures them. Half of them start imagining death by alien fire. Others fantasize about using this war as proof of superiority to Vader. A few silently pray. A stormtrooper watching through the bridge viewport.
Sir, that's a whole fleet burning a planet. Why would anyone do that?
It's the first honest question spoken aloud. He sees Spartan boarding craft, ramming Covenant ships. He sees elites cutting through Marines like ritual sacrifice. He sees pelicans plummeting through atmosphere like meteors. And he realizes bravery doesn't always win. Sometimes bravery is just dying louder. The trooper had always been told the Empire was order and the rebellion chaos. But here, this is something worse. This is extinction. Fear is no longer abstract. It has teeth. There is a moment of collective clarity on the bridge. If they intervene, they might be annihilated by both sides. If they do nothing, an entire species dies. If they panic, they're dead anyway. Vader senses the terror and the truth beneath it. This war is not about territory, rebellion, or pride. This is survival versus genocide. That realization hits the crew harder than any explosion. Their empire suddenly feels small. Strategic thought, they have 3 options, none safe. Withdraw and leave a world to be destroyed. Attack Covenant ships and become a new target for extermination. Attempt communication knowing both sides might fire immediately. The bridge officers understand something brutal. There is no correct move. Every option ends in blood. Strategic reality. The Executor crew is blind, disoriented, and in an active kill zone where both factions are already firing at anything that moves. They have no diplomatic channels, no IFF identification friend or foe, no understanding of terrain, factions, or objectives, unknown technological parity or inferiority, hyperspace unable to be calculated instantly, no idea whether they are outmatched or overwhelmingly dominant. Imperial doctrine never engages blind. The Empire uses overwhelming force, but only when they understand the battlefield. Charging unknown plasma weapons capable of melting continents would be suicidal. Even the most fanatic Imperial officer knows this. The bridge crew is staring at genocide. Reach is being murdered in real time. Anyone with blood in their veins is horrified. The instinctive human reaction is,
We have to help them.
but emotional impulse collides with military fear.
If we act, we might doom ourselves instantly.
That tension fractures the room. Junior crew want to intervene moral instinct. Adrenaline, horror command staff want to retreat survival instinct. Training, disciplined stormtroopers silently panic helplessness. Existential dread, the Admiral thinks logistics, we cannot act until we understand. Vader feels the fear and clarity. Emotional chaos around him sharpens his judgment. Vader's calculation.
This enemy wipes planets clean. That alone rewrites priorities.
He is ruthless, but not an idiot. He will not gamble the Empire's strongest asset on a moral impulse. He orders not to run forever, but to observe first.
Pull back. Power down weapons. Reduce signature. Do not engage.
Once the Executor fires, they expose themselves. Once exposed, they become the next step in the Covenant glassing operation. And Vader senses one undeniable truth. A survivor can decide to fight later. A dead man determines nothing. This choice crushes the bridge psychologically. A stormtrooper whispers,
We're just going to let them die.
An officer clenches his jaw so hard it bleeds. Someone suppresses tears. Someone else gets angry. The realization slams them all. They are watching a world burn, and they are choosing not to move. The guilt is real. The shame is real. The helplessness is real. Bridge of the Executor. The alarms fade into a suffocating silence. Every pair of eyes is locked on Vader, waiting for the verdict like prisoners waiting for a sentence. Vader's voice cuts through the stillness, low and absolute.
Helm, pull us back to minimum safe orbit. Power down weapons and shields. Set sensor resolution to maximum. No transmissions. No probes. Maintain silence.
There's a heartbeat of paralysis. Not confusion, horror. The decision lands like a physical blow. The junior crew, fresh-faced officers, barely more than children in uniforms, stare at the viewport as the long night of solace tears open a UNSC destroyer. Fire blooms across its spine, bodies and metal spilling into vacuum. A tactical officer, voice cracking, despite trying to hold military formality.
Sir, there are civilian transports launching from the surface. If we withdraw,
The Admiral doesn't let him finish. His voice is steel, but his hands tremble behind his back.
We do not have the luxury of fantasy. We are blind and alone in hostile space. Engage and we die without meaning.
The young officer's jaw quivers, rage boiling under discipline.
better than watching a world burn.
That's not rebellion. That's human anguish tearing out of him. The room tightens. Dozens of others feel the same. but don't dare speak it. A stormtrooper at the viewport. He grips his rifle so hard his knuckles go white inside the gloves. He was raised engineered to obey, to never question. But he whispers, barely audible.
What kind of monsters do that to a planet?
He means the Covenant. But part of the bridge hears something else. The Empire is watching, doing nothing. Shame curls through their guts like poison. The Admiral, he steps closer to Vader, voice low, controlled, logical, through clenched teeth.
My lord, if we commit the Executor to this conflict without reconnaissance, we risk annihilation. Our first responsibility must be to survive long enough to understand this enemy.
He's not asking permission. He's reinforcing resolve because he feels the discipline of the bridge fracturing. Vader, the Force washes through him like cold water. The ocean of terror in the room sharpens his focus into something surgical. He feels every heartbeat hammering against ribs, every instinct screaming to act, every thread of emotional collapse. He leans into the clarity that only true fear reveals.
Emotion does not dictate survival. Control does. Only a fool ignites a war he cannot comprehend.
No raised voice, no drama. Just the reality of someone who has learned the price of arrogance in blood. One of the censor officers, Lieutenant Hale, 26, brilliant, idealistic, chokes on his own breath. His composure detonates.
They're glassing cities! Millions of people! We could stop them! We're just sitting here!
He slams a fist against his console. The sound echoes like a gunshot. The Admiral turns sharply, fury and grief behind his mask.
Lieutenant, stand down.
Hale doesn't.
They're begging for help. His voice fractures. Listen to the surface channels.
A sob is strangled behind teeth.
We're no better than they are if we let this happen.
Half the bridge freezes. Question no one wants spoken aloud just became air. Vader steps toward him. No saber, no violence. Just presence so heavy it crushes the room. You presume to judge survival as cowardice, he says quietly.
Look to the viewport. That enemy destroys worlds without hesitation. If they strike us now, the outcome is certain. We learn first. Then we choose whether the Empire enters this war.
His voice turns colder.
And when we choose, we will not fail.
It's not reassurance. It's a threat to the Covenant. No one relaxes. No one feels safe. The bridge becomes a pressure chamber, ready to explode. They pull back. Weapons, power down. The Executor drifts like a shadow, pulling away from hell. The crew watches Reach die, knowing they could have acted, knowing they didn't, knowing they may have to live with it forever. Or die wishing they had. That's the moment where the first fractures in Imperial certainty begin. Loyalty becomes a question. Survival becomes sin. And the weight of inaction becomes a ghost that will haunt every choice afterward. Bridge of the Executor. Lieutenant Hale doesn't sit. He doesn't breathe properly. His chest is heaving like he's drowning in dry air. He looks Vader directly in the mask, a suicidal act in any other context. Not defiance, desperation. His voice is raw, cracking open.
If we survive by watching a world burn, then what are we surviving for?
The words shake every spine in the bridge. Someone flinches, like a shot was fired. An ensign actually looks away, ashamed just to witness it. The Admiral's throat tightens. He opens his mouth, ready to drag Hale away by force, but Vader raises a hand not to choke, simply to command silence. Hale trembles, eyes shining with unfallen tears. His voice becomes quiet, wounded.
I can follow orders, my lord. I have followed them my whole life. But do we stand for anything? Or do we just watch and hope someone else dies first?
The room holds its breath. Inside, Vader. The Force roars around him. Fear, anger, shame twisting together. Hale isn't just one man breaking. He is a mirror forced into Vader's face. He has lived this before. He stood helplessly as Mustafar swallowed everything he was. He watched the Jedi Order collapse. He watched Padam's life slip into silence. He feels the memory of flames on skin, screams echoing through iron lungs. For a brief, forbidden second, he imagines carving through Covenant ranks with the Executor at his back, saving a world, not choking it. But he crushes the impulse. Emotion is not survival. Impulses are how worlds die. He looks at Hale, not as a superior to an inferior, but as someone who recognizes a wound he once bled from. His voice lowers to something razor thin.
Ensign Hale, there is no honor in dying blind.
Hale shakes, but nods, obedience reforged through agony instead of fear.
I understand.
He doesn't, not truly, but he yields. Because sometimes obedience is the only way to stay standing. Vader steps past him, returning to the command dais.
Resume withdrawal.
The Executor begins drifting back when every console suddenly erupts in alarms, shrill, discordant, panicked. CONT, a CT. A sensor tech cries. Multiple vessels altering vectors rapidly. They've spotted us. A tactical readout flashes across the screens. Covenant destroyers breaking off the assault, turning toward the Executor like wolves scenting blood. The Admiral's voice cuts through chaos.
If they close distance, they'll glass us like the surface.
The bridge devolves into shouting, overlapping orders, panic bubbling through discipline like a ruptured seal. Navigation, can we jump? Negative, we still don't have a calibrated star map. Weapons are still powered down. Shields, offline. Hale, breath ragged, forces his voice steady.
So we need cover. Now.
The pillar of autumn bursts across the viewport on a desperate escape vector, engines burning white-hot as it flees through the battlefield. The Admiral's eyes lock onto it, the only ship making any attempt to survive.
Helm, bring us behind that vessel. Use their trajectory to mask our retreat.
It's a terrible idea. It's the only idea. Vader does not hesitate.
Do it.
The Executor pivots a moon-sized dagger moving with impossible grace. Massive thrusters ignite. The enemy destroyers accelerate, their weapon capacitors screaming with energy. The bridge goes silent, not from discipline, but shock. They are now running. Blind, silent, chasing a ship they don't know, hoping it knows something they don't, praying the Covenant doesn't outrun death to reach them first. Fallout on the bridge. No one speaks. No one breathes right. The reality suffocates them. They didn't choose to flee. They were forced into it. Shame sits on every shoulder like lead. A stormtrooper whispers to himself.
We just ran.
An officer mutters, voice hollow.
We're not the strongest thing in the galaxy anymore.
Hale looks at the viewport. watching the burning surface of Reach shrink behind them, and his face shatters quietly, no tears, just resignation. We should have done something. The Admiral doesn't look at him. He stares ahead like a man watching his own reflection crack.
We will, when we understand the battlefield.
And Vader, silent, unmoving, feels the Force swirl with a chilling truth. This universe does not fear him. This universe does not know him. And this universe owes him nothing. There is no glory left, only survival, and the long, inevitable price of inaction. Pillar of Autumn Bridge. The ship shakes violently, alarms screaming through the hull like wounded metal. Oxygen masks hang loose from shattered housings. The smell is copper, burning circuitry, blood. The Autumn is running on desperation and duct tape. Captain Jacob Keyes braces himself against the command console as the last shockwave rolls through.
Report.
Multiple Covenant destroyers in pursuit closing fast. Lieutenant Dominique yells over the noise. Shields are nearly gone. We can't take another volley.
Keyes already knows. He feels the inevitability settling like frost in his bones. It's ending. Then the sensor officer freezes, staring at his screen like he's seeing a ghost.
Sir, new contact. Massive contact. Approaching from behind our stern, unknown, IFF unknown design, unknown everything.
Keyes turns toward the viewport, and his breath catches, because now blotting out half the star field, like a moving black continent, is the Executor. A superstar destroyer is gliding silently behind them, closing distance like a predator shadowing prey. The bridge goes dead quiet. Even the alarms seem muted by shock. Kai's voice is thin, incredulous.
What in God's name is that?
Cortana. Her holographic form snaps in, flickering from processing overload. The AI stares up at the monstrous silhouette reflected in the glass. For a moment, even Cortana's sharpest mind in the UNSC says nothing. Then, measured, calculating.
That vessel is over 17 kilometers in length, maybe more. Its energy signature is unlike any Covenant profile. Not Sanghaili, not Brute, not anything we've seen.
She zooms the tactical overlay. The Executor dwarfs everything around it.
If it fires on us, we're gone. Instantly, they could tear us apart in a single salvo.
Every heart on the bridge stutters. Keyes. He grips the console so tightly his knuckles crack. He understands the horror instantly, caught between glassing beams and a superweapon-sized unknown.
Are they targeting us?
Cortana runs numbers at inhuman speed.
No active lock. No transmissions. No visible weapons deployment. They're matching our vector.
Following us?
Keyes mutters, jaw tightening.
More like hiding behind us, Cortana corrects, voice low. Using our trajectory as cover. Whoever they are, they're running too.
That changes everything. The most terrifying ship any of them have ever seen is not hunting, it is fleeing. A flicker of human disbelief ripples through the bridge.
Something that size doesn't run, the Exo murmurs.
Keyes answers flatly, eyes narrowing.
It does when it's afraid.
Cortana isolates heat signatures and radiation scans.
Captain, the pursuing Covenant ships have reoriented away from the planet. They're tracking the unknown vessel instead of us.
Meaning, the Executor just became the juicier target. A wolf pack abandoning wounded prey for an apex rival. Keyes inhales sharply, an ugly, hopeful breath.
They may have just saved us.
Cortana looks deeper.
Captain, I'm picking up a faint signature from inside that vessel.
Keys turns sharply.
Transmission?
No, something else. Emotional noise, understanding, fear. Whatever is on that ship, they're terrified.
Kais exhales, voice rough, gravel thick with exhaustion.
Then we're not alone in hell.
Behind them, the Executor looms in absolute silence. Ahead, the Covenant fleet races like wolves, scenting blood. Around them, the remains of Reach burn. Kais straightens, tired and resolute.
Stay with our trajectory. Prepare for emergency slip space.
Cortana nods, already calculating.
And the massive unknown behind us?
Key's eyes harden.
If they want to live, they'll follow our lead.
From the viewport, millions die on a burning world behind them, and two ships from different universes run from extinction together. Not allies, not enemies, just survivors. Surface of Reach, Spartan point of view. The sky glows like a furnace. The horizon is a curtain of molten glass as Covenant plasma scorches continents into liquefied terrain. Buildings collapse into firestorms. The air tastes like metal and ash. Emil, blood streaked across his visor, armor cracked, lungs burning, drags himself behind what used to be a wall and now is just jagged concrete. He locks a new shell into the shotgun with trembling hands. He's not fighting for victory anymore. He's fighting for the luxury of one more minute alive. A dropship screams overhead, shot down mid-climb, spiraling like a burning comet into what used to be a city block. The ground shakes. Emil doesn't react. He's numb beyond shock. Then, his comm crackles.
Noble actual to any surviving elements, Pillar of Autumn has launched. Repeat, autumn is away.
Emil closes his eyes. Hope tastes like blood. Then something impossible cuts across the sky. A shadow slides overhead, blotting out fire and sunlight alike. He looks up, and his breath stutters. A ship longer than a mountain range, darker than smoke, gliding across the burning atmosphere like a god of steel. The Executor. His HUD can't compute its size. It throws sensor errors that scream in red. Its silhouette reflects firelight from the burning planet below like a blade dripping molten metal.
What the hell, Emil whispers. He's seen Covenant supercarriers. This thing makes them look like toys.
A Marine nearby drops his rifle, staring upward like a man watching judgment descend.
You seeing that, Spartan?
Yeah, I see it.
The autumn streaks away like a darting insect beneath the Colossus. And for one insane moment, Emil thinks.
If that thing fires, it could turn the tide.
Then, instinct crushes the thought.
It's not firing. It's running.
He watches the Covenant ships break off pursuit of the autumn and accelerate toward the massive vessel.
Even the Covenant fears it.
Emil's stomach twists. He's not hopeful. He's furious.
Cowards.
He mutters through clenched teeth.
You came from nowhere, watched us burn, and ran.
The ground shakes again. Plasma fire begins to fall. The world becomes white. His last words before the blast hits tell them we were not afraid. White, heat, silence. Reach dies, screaming. Aboard the Pillar of Autumn First Contact. Cortana's avatar flickers sharply, stabilizing mid-glitch.
Captain, the unknown vessel is powering communication systems. Very high bandwidth. Not Covenant. Not UNSC. Completely unclassified.
Key's pulse jumps. A new faction in the middle of annihilation is a nightmare.
Content?
Encrypted. Format incompatible. They're attempting contact.
Kai's chews a breath of scorched air. Either answer could end in extermination.
Open a narrow band channel. Contain it to this bridge.
Static hisses, thick and alien, the sound of two incompatible technologies scraping at each other. Then a voice breaks through, filtered. Mechanical, distant, cold.
This is Lord Vader of the Executor. Identify yourselves.
The bridge of the autumn goes still. Cortana recalculates every scenario at light speed. Kai steps forward, voice steady from sheer force of will. Silence, a terrible weighted silence. Then Vader.
We seek information. What is the nature of this enemy?
Kai's almost laughs hollow, broken.
Genocidal, religious. They destroy every human world they find. Reach is lost. If they capture either of us, we die.
Another silence. Then Vader's voice darkens, something ancient and furious, carving its way into every syllable.
Then it appears we have a common enemy.
Cortana flashes analytics. Captain Covenant destroyers are closing fast. They'll be in firing range in 90 seconds. Kai's looks at the viewport, at the burning grave of Reach, and makes the most reckless, necessary decision of his career.
Cortana.
To where?
Anywhere that isn't here.
He turns to the comm.
Vader, if you want to live, match our jump.
The channel crackles with static, hesitation, and unspoken terror. Then Vader answers.
We will follow.
The Autumn's engines scream to life. The Executor's thrusters flare like igniting suns. Covenant warships close like executioners. Slipspace tears open a wound in reality. Two ships from two universes dive into darkness together. Behind them, Reach burns into glass. The Covenant point of view, Shipmaster Thelvadami. The bridge of the CCS-class devoted sentry is a cathedral of violet holographics and burning fury. Emergency rooms pulse along the displays. Covenant ships swarm like hornets, where Reach once stood, firing blind into the void where the slipspace rupture closed moments ago. Thel's mandibles twitch with disgust.
Transmit sensor logs again. Magnify the unknown vessel.
The display blooms. The Executor fills the screen unnatural. Obsidian, silent. Not Covenant, not human. A spear forged from pure intimidation.
Shipmaster, an elite officer whispers, voice raw. It does not match any archive. Not even classified reliquary records. Meaning?
Meaning even the myths don't account for it.
A prophet's hologram materializes floating, sickly white, drenched in panic. It tries to disguise as piety.
Shipmaster, explain why you allowed the humans to escape. Why did you divert pursuit? The unknown warship was not human. If we had ignored it, we risked annihilation. I will not throw lives into fire without purpose.
Thel refuses to bow. The prophet's eyes narrow, venom behind silk.
You presume to weigh judgment against the word of the gods. That vessel is a test. You have failed.
Thel steps forward, rage scraping the edge of self-control.
That ship froze every commander in this fleet. Even you feared it. Silence.
Prophet leans forward until his holographic nose nearly touches Thel's armor.
Whatever those creatures are, find them, kill them, and erase the shame you stain us with.
Transmission cuts. The bridge is silent. The officer speaks cautiously.
If we're you, we risk following blindly into a trap.
Dell's voice is ice.
There is no trap worse than obedience to fools.
He turns, prepares slip space coordinates. We hunt. His last thought, unspoken. If this new enemy rivals the Covenant, then the prophets have lost control of fate, and Vel intends to witness their ruin. Vader alone in the meditation chamber. Darkness, the hiss of respirators. The chamber seals shut with a metallic scream, shrouding him in solitude thicker than Durasteel. He kneels. For once, there is no rage to burn through, no battle to drown thought, only the image etched into his mind. A planet dying under fire, the roar of plasma turning continents into oceans of glass, the psychic echo of billions screaming at once, the silence that followed. He has felt world death before. He committed it. He justified it. He never watched it helpless. The force trembles around him, disordered, rippling with the shockwave of extinction. He reaches into that chaos-searching, probing, demanding structure. Instead, something alien stares back. Not light, not dark. Purpose without emotion. War without ideology. Total annihilation as doctrine. He sees the Covenant. Not monsters. Fanatics. A mirror. The mask amplifies his breathing into thunder. Another empire. Another emperor. Another galaxy ruled by fear and faith. His hands tighten until the metal groans under his grip.
This war is mine.
Not Palpatine's. Not the Republic's ghost. Not Destiny's. His voice, spoken into darkness, is a vow.
I will not watch another world burn unchallenged.
For the first time in years, maybe decades, he feels something close to clarity. And something very dangerous. Hope sharpened into a blade. Aboard the pillar of autumn keys and Cortana. Slip space hums like a living storm outside the hull. The bridge is lit by emergency strips. Every surface is trembling from stress. Crew whisper rumors, fear spreading like infection. Kai's hasn't moved from the command deck. His hands grip the console until his knuckles ache. Cortana stands beside him, projected in shimmering blue, voice flat and analytical to avoid hysteria.
Captain, this ship, the Executor, is maintaining perfect positional lock. They are shadowing us with disturbing precision.
How disturbing.
If they were hostile, we'd be vapor.
Pease exhales through teeth.
Casualty reports?
Too many to say without flooding you with statistics. But we bought them time. Some might make it.
Keyes doesn't speak. He knows Reach is dead. Cortana lowers her voice. Kai's nods sharply.
Open a secure encrypted channel to their command. I'm not letting another unknown dictate our survival.
She pauses. There's something she hasn't said.
Captain, the energy signature from that ship.
Her voice tightens.
If they decide we're disposable, we wouldn't even have time to understand how we died.
The humiliation tastes acidic.
Then we don't ask permission. We act first.
He wipes blood from his temple. Cortana flashes a wicked half-smile warrior to warrior.
Understood.
In her processor, One hidden thought: if Vader is telling the truth, he is the most dangerous ally humanity could ever make. If he's lying, he's the executioner waiting behind the door. Slipspace has never been experienced before by Imperials. Hyperspace, for them, is luminous vectors, navigational lines, calculable compression of space-time. Slipspace, by contrast, is alien, non-Euclidean darkness, fractal geometry, folding unpredictably, sensory distortion. Closest experience is force-induced sensory collapse, but without guidance, without structure. They are dragged in Cortana's wake, like a harpooned predator pulled into an abyss. The moment the Pillar of Autumn jumps, the Executor follows blindly, violently, because the alternative is instant death by Covenant plasma, or remaining trapped in a hell they cannot explain. The experience is not smooth. It is trauma. Interior/Executor bridge. The stars warp. The universe bends. The horizon folds inwards, wrong in every possible interpretation of physics. Crews slam hands against consoles as gravitational distortions crush the bridge. Someone vomits. Another screams, involuntarily. Metal groans like an animal in pain. This is not hyperspace. Hyperspace is light. This is void. Vader is silent because he alone understands something the others do not. This place does not merely bend space. It touches the Force like a serrated blade, ragged, unstable, unpredictable. It rips at him, testing the edges of his will. His breathing mask rattles under the strain. For the first time in years, he feels fear. Not panic, not terror. Fear as a cold, analytical realization they are not in control. Commander Hale grips the rail with white knuckles. Tears streak down his cheeks, rage, humiliation, breaking human instinct. Ellie, raw, voice cracking.
We're following them into this? We're blind. We don't even know if we're going to survive the transit.
Vader, quiet, cold. It is not reassurance. It is fact.
We are already dead if we do not.
A junior officer convulses, overwhelmed by sensory overload. Another prays under her breath. Someone yanks off their helmet and gasps like they're drowning. The tension fractures into chaos. AKLE shouting, brutally honest, no protocol left.
Then say it. Say you don't know what's happening. Say we're not gods. Say we're animals chasing something we don't understand.
Vader's internal struggle roils inward. Anger is easy. Rage is a weapon. But if he lashes out now, the thin thread of structure collapses into mutiny. Control through fear is only effective when survival feels possible. Inside his mind, if I kill him, discipline returns. If I do nothing, the bridge dissolves. He chooses neither. Vader, voice steel, absolute, not raised.
All of you, listen to me.
The room freezes, not because of the Force, because there is nothing else to cling to.
You may break later. You may grieve later. You may collapse later. But right now, we survive. You will hold, because there is no other choice.
A trembling navigator whispers, Navigator, we're holding course following the UNSC vessel. Speed is matching. Structural integrity unstable. Hale lowers his head. He obeys. Not out of faith, out of surrender to the only anchor left. Hale, whisper, broken, I, Lord Vader. The drop out of slipspace. Violent emergence. Consoles explode. Bodies thrown from stations. Emergency lighting snaps on blood red. Ahead, an impossible ring spanning the horizon. Silence crashes onto the bridge like a corpse. No one breathes. A junior officer stares through the viewport, voice hollow. Junior officer, what is that? Hale's throat locks. Awe and despair mingle. Hale, quiet, dear God. Vader stands motionless. The ring radiates through the Force like a scream trapped outside time. Alive, ancient, predatory. Something inside it sends a shiver up his spine. Vader's soft, internal monologue. This is no weapon we have ever conceived. His hands tighten slightly on the railing. The executioner of worlds has arrived at a place built to exterminate creation itself. Nobody cheers. Nobody speculates. This is trauma, shock, existential collapse. Every single person now understands. They are ants crawling across a primed warhead. Hale wipes his face, regaining composure by force of will. Hale, horse, orders, sir. Vader answers without hesitation. Logic, not emotion.
Track the autumn. Do not engage anything. Scan everything. And pray our presence is unnoticed.
The ring hangs in the void like a silent verdict. Burning sections of the Executor's hull trail sparks into space damage from slipspace shear. Atmosphere plumes leak from ruptures along the dorsal structure, freezing instantly. The bridge hums with a low, pained vibration, like the ship itself is wounded. Alarms pulse weakly. No one speaks. Then, sensor officer, voice shaking, trying to be professional. Long-range scans are restored. We're getting something. Unknown contacts. Multiple signatures. Patterns are impossible to classify. Vader's respirator rasps, once sharp, control. Vader, follow the autumn. Maintain distance. Passive sensors only. No active emissions. The order is ice cold, but beneath his voice is tension knotted like wire. The Force churns unsteady, distorted. Slipspace residue still clings to reality, like static electricity. He feels it scraping the edges of his mind. Not simply unfamiliar, hostile. Hale steadies himself against the console. He looks broken, but functional, held together by duty alone. Hale, low, controlled, navigation report status. Are we stable? Navigation officer, barely. Internal gravity still fluctuating. Structural stress is past red line on 3 decks. If we take a broadside in this condition, Hale, we won't survive it. I understand. He avoids looking at Vader, not out of fear, out of shame. Then every console flickers. Screens distort into spirals of code. Foreign symbols crawl like living organisms across displays. Several officers flinch back, thinking it's an attack. Sensor tech? What the hell? A voice breaks through the interference. Cortana, V. O filtered through distortion, calm, analytical, unknown vessel, Executor, your vector is dangerously close. If you can hear this transmission, identify yourselves and increase distance. Repeat, identify yourselves and increase distance. The bridge freezes. Everyone hears it. Everyone knows instantly. This is not Imperial AI. Imperial machine intellect is cold, limited, mechanical. This is alive, fluid, adaptive, intelligent beyond anything they've seen. Whispers ripple like shockwaves. Officer, breathless, stunned, that's an AI. A real one. Not a nav computer, an actual thinking system. Someone's hands shake uncontrollably. Another officer grips the edge of their console so hard blood stains their palms. Vader stands perfectly still. Internally, the conflict detonates. She isn't merely speaking through comms. She's brushing the perimeter of their systems. Light, surgical, reconnaissance-level probing testing their encryption lattice without breaching it. A mind against a mind. Predator against predator. Vader senses intent, not hostile, not submissive, assessing. Cortana continues. Cortana, V. Oh, you're not Covenant. Your whole configuration matches nothing in any archive. If you understand this transmission, respond. If you don't, your silence is a tactical liability. Hale's throat tightens. He feels the weight of a decision no training prepared him for. Hale, they're signaling again.
Cortana, V. Oh, sharper now, more urgent. Unknown superstructure. You are on an intercept vector with the Autumn. Correct course, or we will treat you as hostile.
The word hostile crashes like a hammer. The bridge's tension spikes. A stormtrooper near the rear cracks, fear turning to aggression. Stormtrooper, why the hell are we letting them dictate terms? Fire a warning volley. Show them what we are. Vader turns his helmet slightly. Not angry, surgical.
A warning volley becomes a war. A war we cannot win in this condition.
His voice cuts the room open. No one breathes. Hale swallows hard. Hale, then what do we do? Vader's internal calculus is blisteringly fast. This superstructure, Halo, is a weapon or something worse. The Covenant will be here any second. The Autumn has the only guide who understands anything. This AI is the key, and knowledge is more powerful than fire. Vader steps forward.
We follow. Exactly. We do not provoke. We do not reveal. We learn.
His hand tightens on the railing.
If we are to survive this universe, we must start by understanding it.
He turns to comms.
Transmit one signal. Simple, controlled, non-linguistic, non-threatening. A pulse acknowledgement. Nothing more.
Comms, aye, Lord Vader. They send it. A soft ping echoes over the speakers. The simplest gesture of we hear you without we submit. The bridge waits every heart in freefall. A moment later, Cortana responds. Cortana, V. O, acknowledged. Maintain formation. And try not to get killed. The line cuts. A breath escapes the whole room at once. Half relief, half dread. Hale looks to Vader. A-A-L-E, that voice, she wasn't afraid. Vader's response is quiet.
No, she wasn't.
His respirator pulses once, like a drumbeat.
Which means we should be.
The Executor holds a cold, wounded course behind the Autumn. Damaged crews run the corridors like arteries clogged with adrenaline. Medics drag injured personnel from collapsed bulkheads. Structural alarms still pulse in dull red cycles. The ring dominates the viewport, a perfect arc stretching into impossible curvature. For Cortana, the Autumn's Bridge, and the Executor Ike, the reaction is identical. What is that? How is that possible? UNSC aboard the Pillar of Autumn. Cortana bolts through sensor data, so fast her voice flickers with strain. She pauses only a fraction of a second, a blink in machine terms, an eternity in emotional ones. Key's jaw sets like stone. Keys, keep them in our periphery. Passive scans only. Focus on the ring. He's a veteran of too many impossible encounters. His instincts are simple. Study, survive, avoid unnecessary enemies. Even when staring at an artificial world and an impossibly huge alien warship. Cortana spreads her processing between three priorities. Halo, the approaching Covenant fleet, the Executor. Her voice is flat but tight with pressure.
Cortana, they're not Covenant. No plasma signatures of known designs, but their reactor output is staggering.
She doesn't say it, but the subtext is obvious. If that ship opens fire, we die. Slip space ruptures with a soundless bloom. Multiple vessels appear in formation, sharp, disciplined, no wasted motion. No theatrics, no speeches, just military efficiency. A CCS-class battlecruiser pings the network, encrypted. Its commander receives a brief, stoic update. The demon is believed aboard the Autumn. The Holy Ring is discovered. The Covenant must secure it immediately. A Shanghai operations officer reports. Intrusion on Grid 47. Unknown supercapital vessel. Command responds without excitement or disbelief, just tactical rigor. Field Marshal V. O. Evaluate threat. If hostile, eliminate. There's no hesitation, no awe. Their religion makes them deadly, not dramatic. Back to the Executor. The Executor's bridge lights flare as a dozen new contacts bloom across sensors. A comms officer whispers, terrified. Contacts emerge in multiple warships, vectoring toward the ring and toward us. Hale's skin goes pale. Covenant, sensor officer comparing signatures, yes. Same as Reach. Same architecture. Same plasma emissions. Hale braces himself, forcing discipline through shaking muscles. Lord Vader, if they treated Reach as a warm-up, they'll swat us out of space in this condition. He's not wrong. The Executor is massive, but wounded. Structural stress is real. Shields not built for plasma weaponry. No understanding of enemy tactics. Vader doesn't posture. He doesn't pretend omniscience. He gives the only sane order.
Hold course. Hold silence. Do not provoke.
Then the Covenant make the first move. A Shanghai officer, reading the Executor as an unknown intruder, marks it for surveillance.
Shanghai Tech V. Oh, that vessel moves with purpose. It shadows the human frigate.
Shanghai Commander V. O. Observe it. Do not engage unless it impedes the reclamation.
They treat the Executor as a curiosity, not a threat. Not yet. UNSC comms flare to life. Cortana's voice, cuts through the Executor's bridge, again controlled, measured, maintaining full awareness that Covenant ships are seconds from firing solutions.
Unknown vessel. Maintain distance and avoid combat vectors. If the Covenant think we're cooperating, they'll hit you first.
This isn't diplomacy. It's survival math. Hail, finally answers, voice raw but steady. Hail to Vader. Lo, sir, she's warning us. The implication is sharp. These strangers, these humans are treating us better than the Covenant would. Vader says nothing. His silence is not a threat. It's calculation. Inside the mask, he commits one unvarnished, unembellished truth to the forefront of his mind. These people understand this battlefield. We do not. The bridge is holding together barely. Officers shake but obey. Stormtroopers grip rifles they cannot use. Engineers struggle with hull integrity instead of fear. Hale stands rigidly at Vader's side, refusing to crack again. Everyone shares the same internal monologue. Don't let them see. We're afraid. The Covenant locks targets. A Sanghaili voice cuts through their own internal comms.
Sanghaili Weapons Tech Cruiser Truth of Conviction has firing solution.
Sanghaili Commander hold. The ring is priority.
But they're watching the Executor like a lion studying a wounded bull. One slip, one spark, one misinterpreted maneuver, and plasma will tear straight into the Executor's flanks. Executor Bridge. The Executor, the Autumn, and the Covenant all drift toward Halo. None of them understand it. All of them fear it for different reasons. Vader breaks the silence. Vader, quiet, absolute. We follow the Autumn. Hale nods slowly. Hale, and if the Covenant fire first? Vader's answer is brutally honest.
Then we die.
He turns slightly toward the viewport, voice like a blade.
So we make certain they do not fire.
The pillar of Autumn hits Halo's atmosphere like a burning blade, its hull flaring orange as Keys forces the controlled descent. The Executor follows at high altitude, battered but functional, exchanging measured, tactically precise fire with the Covenant cruisers pursuing the Autumn. The Executor's turbolasers carve through two Seraph wings, and a Covenant corvette attempting to flank the Autumn, shattering the vessel in a single brutal